Welcome back, everybody. My name is Tim. This is another Real Ideal Gear review. Today we're looking at the Baltany D12, one of the dirty dozen homages that Baltany has done that a plethora of other watch companies have done. So we're going to take a look at this watch and see how it stacks up, and at the end we'll find out whether or not this watch is going to stay in my collection, or is there something about this watch that just doesn't really sit well with me or wear well with me? So let's start off with the 5 things we typically do, which are size, fitment, finish, accuracy, and then legibility and lume. Starting off with size, it's a 36 millimeter diameter watch. It also is 12.5 millimeters tall. Now keep in mind that the crystal itself is about 1 millimeter of that, so the case is about 11. So proportionally speaking, this does not look like a chunky watch at all. It actually looks really well proportioned, and you have a sapphire domed crystal. So this is something that is really attributed to the crystal itself. Now for strap changes, you have an 18 millimeter width between the lugs for strap changes. So yeah, it's not my favorite, but again, you have a 36 millimeter diameter case, so you're going to get smaller straps typically on something like that anyway. Now what about fitment? So when I ordered this, there are a bunch of choices for straps. I chose the leather NATO strap. Now there is the nylon NATO strap, there is the 2-piece leather strap, there are a bunch of choices. I chose the leather NATO strap. I thought it was going to be a good fit. As a matter of fact, I thought it was a relatively thin leather NATO strap, and when I got it, it's very thick, stiff, unwearable, and I have never worn it since. I tried it on and I said, this is impossible. So I put on a 2-piece AliExpress leather strap, and I love it. These are $7 a piece, and to me, I have a bunch of these. I think I probably have a dozen of these straps around the house because I think the waxed leather look of this leather strap is outstanding. And I think when you look at the photos of this watch, I think that really goes well. Matter of fact, I think this leather goes much better than the leather NATO strap that it came with. So as far as fitment goes, the strap does not work for me. It's going to get dinged on this. The finish of this watch is really, really well done. It has a matte silver finish on the case, which really sticks well with it being a military era watch, 1940s. So I think that does a great job. The handset in here is outstanding. It has that old radium lume filled look to it. And then you also have white hour markers that go all the way around. They're numbered. And that's kind of a question for me, because why would you put white numbers around a dial when you have old radium lume hands, and then you have old radium lume pips that go outside of those hour numbers? So to me, there's this conflict between the numbers, the handset, and the hour markers that are lumed that go on the outside. It just doesn't really go well for me. However, deep black dial, and the contrast on here is great. I love it. Actually, I like the shape of the handset. It's very simple to look at and very simple to understand what the time is. Now, without there being a logo, this is another choice that I made. I wanted it without a logo because I didn't want Baltany on there. I thought, you know, it's kind of an homage to the British military, so I don't want to have Baltany on there. So I chose not to have a logo, and I have to say, it's a little too barren for me. I'm so used to seeing brand logos at the top between the 10 o'clock and the 2 o'clock position on a dial that, yeah, it does look a little bit too barren if you ask me. This is a very simple watch. It is a field watch from the 1940s. There was not a lot of bells and whistles with this. It has the small second hand down to 6 o'clock position. And I got to say, the markers for the seconds that go all the way around, every 5 seconds has a larger increment marker on it. I really like it, and it's a quartz movement, so you're going to see the ticking second hand down there, but I don't mind it so much because the movement or the area with which that hand moves is pretty small to start with, so it's not really that noticeable. Sometimes you get a quartz movement that's on that center pinion and that big second hand that's ticking all the way around the entire face of the dial, and it's pretty noticeable. But this way, I think you can kind of get a good compromise with a quartz movement and a small second hands. It really is not that big of a deal. On the very outside of the dial is a minute track. Now, it's a railroad style minute track, and I love those. To me, it's kind of the era. And then you've got the hour pips that go on, the loomed hour pips that go on the outside of that, which all of it looks great. So to me, everything looks great. It's a little bit too open for me. I think the numbers, the hour numbers, are a little bit too small, and therefore there's just a lot of blank dial in the middle, especially when it's a nice deep black. There's really not a lot to it. All right, let's go to accuracy. This is a VD78 quartz movement. No issues with it whatsoever. It's been keeping great time. Love quartz movements for this reason. So that makes this watch a grab and go type watch. And I think when it comes to a military style watch that has that quartz movement, you just don't have to deal with this watch very much. And I think that all goes together, makes a great package. So to me, the quartz movement, the accuracy that you get out of it, the grab and go, it's a change of a battery every couple of years, 3 years, whatever it is. It's not that big a deal. I like it. I like the whole setup. Now, what about the legibility and lume? Now, legibility-wise, it's a very legible watch. I wish the numbers were a little bit bigger, but it's okay. It's very legible. I can read the time no matter what the conditions are. I don't need to have my reading glasses for this. It's a great watch to look at. Even the small second hand, I can pretty much tell where I am on the second subdial. So to me, it's a very, very legible watch. So what about the lume on this watch? It's excellent. It's barely all-night lume. The handset is okay. The hour markers are better because they're white luminous material versus the old radium lume material. So this is where it's like, why did you kind of mix and match these two colors, especially when it comes down to lume? So to me, the lume, I think, could have been more uniform. You would have gotten a better result. Is it all-night lume? Yes, but it's more on the hour marker side than it is on the handset side. I can see the handset, barely. It would be easier to see it if it was just white, straight up white lume. It has a grippy screw-down crown, which means it also has 100 meters of water resistance. It has a domed sapphire crystal, a matte silver finish on the case, 36 millimeter diameter watch. Folks, this is a great work watch for those of you with average size wrists or smaller. I think this watch is going to be a great beater watch, a grab and go watch. This watch has a lot of great things going for it. What are the pros to this watch? The case finishing is great. The handset's very legible. It's a very legible watch. The lume is great, except for the mix and match of the lume colors. You have also a great dial. You have a quartz movement. You have a grippy screw-down crown, 100 meters of water resistance, sapphire crystal. A lot of great things about this watch. What do I not like about this watch? The strap is crap. That's all there is to it. Crappy strap. Go with a nylon strap. Go with a two-piece strap. Do not get the leather NATO strap. It's a piece of junk. The space between the numbers in there, that no logo thing, I'm not a huge fan of it. That's my fault. And again, the strap is also my fault too, so I'm not going to ding it too much for that. But the numbers are a little bit too small. Even if there was a logo in there, I think the numbers could be just a little bit bigger and be a little bit more legible. So overall, the score for this watch, 9.5 out of 10. I like the watch. I do recommend it. It's just not for me. You're going to see this watch up for sale on my website at realidealgear.com. So if you're interested in this watch, not only did I get this for a screaming deal on the March sale, you'll get it for a screaming deal on my website, which is realidealgear.com. So put your comments down below. Let me know what you think of this watch and the D12 series of watches that are out there. Those of you that may have the vintage versions of it, or you have the companies who are making remakes of that watch, or in this case, like I've done, an homage of the watch. I think it's a great looking watch. This one just isn't for me. So I'd love to hear what your comments are down below. My name is Tim. This has been another Real Ideal Gear review. We'll catch you guys next time.